When I came to Georgetown 20 years ago, Alonzo Mourning was on the team.
You know, the Redskins were red hot, right? I think they won a Super Bowl that year, if I'm not mistaken.
I hadn't embraced being a bald guy fully, and so I had hair around on my sides, and if I let it grow too long, I looked very much like Krusty the Clown.
Now, beginning teaching legal research and writing was the year of O.J.'s trial. My students said, "What do you think the verdict would be?" And I said, "Not guilty in an hour." And they were all, "You're absolutely wrong."
There was an extremely right-wing congressman invited to speak about policy towards gay and lesbian Americans. And I got into a rather heated debate with this man, and there I was less than a week into my time at Georgetown on the cover of the Washington Blade.
I like to think that over 20 years I haven't changed that much. It's just hard to imagine that I've been here for that long.
So did everyone catch the action of the game last night? Well, there were a lot of highlights. Jason Clark had a phenomenal game.
I always like to start my class whenever we win by announcing it and taking a couple of seconds to talk about, the win and how exciting it is.
I think that calculated buffoonery has proved to be a very powerful pedagogical tool for me.
I started a huge lecture, 2-hour lecture that I do that integrates all these principles from when you're sleeping, what your GI tract does, to when you're waking up.
Started binding B12 with...
The students named this lecture Soup to Poop. Maybe that's my legacy to Georgetown, is that lecture.
But when I was a kid, I watched Star Trek. I loved it because it was so conceptual. I think it's one of the reasons I became a philosopher. I waited till I had tenure before I taught it. And to their credit, Georgetown was completely behind me in this.
I've taught it since 2002, course on the medievalism of Harry Potter. We learn about what myths are as opposed to history, the need to believe, to care, to love, and have good friendships. You could say they're valid for anybody at any point in life, but they're especially emphasized by the Jesuits.
We lived in an atheist country. Reading works by Tolstoy and Dostoevsky was really the first encounter I had with metaphysical questions, philosophical questions, religious questions. And at Georgetown, I had a free pass to raise these questions, to engage students. So many times they will say, yes, these were great books, and it really made me think about it for myself, and how this applies to my life. Okay. Mission accomplished.
What I really love doing is working with the students and mentoring them and seeing them grow.
Make sure you keep contact with the school.
I really hope the students see from me is that I will always be there to help them and give them the push.
So, or after undergrad, and I worked at it.
What keeps me here is the theatrical element of walking into a classroom, seeing a group of students, and trying to figure out ways to reach them so that they will fall in love with whatever I'm teaching.
And they would rather take that dollar. The rational thing is to offer a buck. And why is that?
This is my 20th year at Georgetown. Today is my first day of class this semester, and I slept very restlessly last night. I was really nervous. Am I going to be prepared? Am I going to be compelling? Am I going to be persuasive? Am I going to be inspirational?
Accepts or rejects the offer that you make. I know I'm perfect.
That never goes away from me, because each class, each day, it's a new audience, and I have my chance.
What I think is particularly fun about the place is you can think big here. You can think kind of crazy here. Sometimes you run into dead ends, but sometimes you find sort of the pot at the end of the rainbow.
Through the IRB and stuff. So
That's not an immediate thing. The goal, honestly, is to cure patients with GI cancers. You told me it was like nothing happened to you. We think we have a real opportunity, maybe in the next 20 years, to realize that big goal.
What I'm trying to do is to prevent women from getting breast cancer. We have recently found out that what mother eats during pregnancy not only increases her daughter's breast cancer risk, but it also increases the granddaughters and great-granddaughters. And we think we know how this is mediated. So I'm very excited about that.
I established this big long-term study of bottlenose dolphins, and we've learned so much about them in the last 2 decades, and now it's become a world-renowned project. This is the only long-term study of bottlenose dolphins where students can come out to a remote field site like this and actually watch dolphin behavior. These are the only dolphins in the world that use marine sponges as tools. And a lot of my career has been spent trying to understand why some dolphins do this and others don't.
There are no nurse anesthesia programs from Richmond to Philadelphia, none in the state of Maryland, none in the District of Columbia. So there's a huge need. We have graduated over 500 students now, many of whom have stayed in the DC area and are now working in the DC hospitals and serving the community of need.
My work is to help the District of Columbia improve healthcare quality and access for adults with intellectual disabilities. So we do that primarily through educating the community workforce.
Here's some questions about
We don't do things for people, it's with and on behalf of. And that's the part that I think Georgetown really gets.
We're going to be teaching a course entitled Entrepreneurship and Community Empowerment, in which the idea is to tap into the law school as really a reservoir of expertise and talent with regard to transactions work, establishing an incubator for young businesses, providing a host of technical expertise to community empowerment centers in the community, and those organizations benefiting from that student involvement.
Something about I've been involved as a mentor to the students on the anti-sweatshop campaign, the living wage campaign, the recent unionization campaign with the restaurant workers. I was involved in helping the students push for the LGBT Center at Georgetown.
Whenever a question comes up,
So the university, I think, has been amazing in its respect for academic freedom and taken challenges seriously. In the end, the university did, in my view, did the right thing in every case.
You never achieve your goals. You know, you just try to, to pursue your goals. That's what, all you can do.
You try to leave a mark on the education of the students, and you try to contribute to the creation of knowledge in your research.
So you've already talked about it, you're fired up and ready to go? Georgetown has clearly given me the opportunity to be living my dream.
When you're happy with the work that you do and you look forward to going to work, it sounds kind of trite, but that's really quite a gift.
They live for 40 years, so I still haven't followed an animal from birth to very old age. So as I become geriatric, I'll be studying geriatric dolphins too, I'm sure.
I have no interest of leaving Georgetown.
I'm just 50, for God's sakes. It's not like I'm dead.
I'm not that old yet.
Another 20 years, maybe?
Rejects, in which case I take the 10 knowledge back.
But look, a majority...
I'll stay and keep teaching here so long as when I wake up in the morning on the first day of class, I can't wait to be there. When that goes away, I'll find something else to do. 20 years, it hasn't gone away yet, so I imagine I'll have that feeling for a while.